Okay, today's lesson is called estimation and rounding, which means we're not working out these things exactly. We're going to be rounding them to hopefully make future calculations easier. So let's fill in. There's a couple of sentences here with some gaps to fill in. Let's read through them and fill in the right words. The first one says, estimates or approximations to answers of problems can be found by, hands up, does anyone think of a good word to put there? Miller? Rounding is perfect. By rounding numbers to the nearest 10, 100 or 1,000. Please make sure that you're writing down everything in this booklet that I do. The symbols, and there's one symbol here. It's like a wavy equal sign. And there's another one which looks like this. It's a normal equal sign with a dot on either side of it. Archie, what do those signs mean? Not quite. Can you stop stabbing the person next to you and pay attention, please? Those two symbols mean approximately equal to. So put approximately equal to. Okay, they're not exactly the same because we're going to be rounding, but they are approximately the same. So we'll be using one of those symbols to indicate that it is an approximation. Okay, the next section. These are the rules for rounding numbers. Now, you'll have different spots where you need to round. Sometimes it might be the nearest 10 or 100 or 1,000, and the question will tell you what to do. But if the next digit from where you want to round is a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, the number is rounded down. Okay? Now, when it says round down, it actually is a bit misleading because you don't make the number lower. It actually means the number stays the same. Rounding down just means you chop the number off and the number in front stays the same as what it is. However, if the number is 5 or larger, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you are going to round up, which means that the number in front increases by 1. That's what rounding up means. Okay, so let me show you how to do this. Question 1. Round these numbers to where it is indicated in the brackets here. Just stop the talking, please. Thank you. So the first one, we're rounding to the nearest 10. So hopefully you remember your place value, your ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So the tens digit is the 8. Okay, that's the number that I want to keep. And anything after that needs to be rounded off. So the 6 needs to be rounded. Because it is above 5, it means I need to round up. And that means that the 8 will become 1 larger, becoming a 9. And then we want to keep it in the tens, so we put a 0 for the second digit. In other words, I'm saying that 86 is closer to 90 than it is to 80. I'm rounding it up. Okay, let's try another one. 61, rounding to the nearest 10. So again, the 6 is in the tens position. The 1 is below 5, which means I want to round down, which means I'm just going to change it into a 0. It'll become 6 stays the same, and the 1 rounds down to just become a 0. Question C, round 4,142 to the nearest 100. Now the 100 is the 1 in there. So the 1 and the 4, so anything in the hundreds or bigger is going to stay. But then I have to decide how to round based on the next number, which is the 4. Okay, the 2 is not actually important at all. It's all about this 4, the very next number. Again, because that is below 5, it means I want to round down. I will keep the 4, I will keep the 1, and the other numbers round down to zeros. D, rounding to the nearest 100. So the 100 is the 6, so I'm going to keep the 7 and the 6, the 2 that are hundreds or bigger. This time the 8, the very next number, is above 5, which means I'm going to round up. Rounding up means that the number here in front goes up by 1 to be a 7. So it'll be 7, 7, and then the unhighlighted ones become zeros. So it still stays in the right place value. E, we're rounding to the nearest 1,000. So we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands is the 4. So I'm keeping the 4 and the 2 in front of it, the thousands and bigger. Okay? Anything after has to round. A 7 is going to round up to make this a 5. So we have 2, 5, and then turn all of the rest of them into zeros. Okay, F. Rounding to the nearest 1,000 again. Girls, we all right? Okay, we're concentrating. Thousands. The 4 is in the thousands position, which means I'm keeping the 8 and the 4. Anything after, I want to round this. Because it's a 1, it will round down. I will keep the 8 and the 4, and they will round down to zeros for the other 3 numbers. Now I'm getting the impression by looking around the room, they're going, yep, I know how to do this, which is really good. We are going to make it slightly harder in just a minute. On the next page, question 2. This question is more about the wording of the question that I need you to understand for this one. It says, estimate the following numbers by rounding to the leading digit. And in the theory booklet, I've explained to you what the leading digit is. It is the first digit of the number. Now, sometimes that might be a hundreds number. Sometimes it might be a thousands number. Sometimes it might be a millions number. Whatever is the first digit we want to keep, and everything else we want to round off. The leading digit we keep. Okay, so that's what that means. So you'll notice that we've got some approximately equal to signs here, which is good. I'm going to keep the 2. Whoops, that was supposed to be my highlight. I'll try that again. Keep the 2. The 3 is below 5, so it will round down. So it's approximately equal to 2,000. And the next one, I want to keep the 9. But this time, a 6 will round up. And to round up a 9, it needs to become a 10. So it becomes 10, and then I still need 2 zeros, so it rounds up to be 1,000. Okay, this is where we combine things. Question 3. Estimate the answers to these problems by rounding each number in the question to the leading digit, and then we will be able to calculate without our calculators. Okay, so first of all, the 42. I'm going to keep the leading digit, which is the 4, and the 2 will round down. So it's going to be approximately equal to 40. Now the 7, if I highlight my leading digit, the 7 is the only digit. Don't round it. Don't round it to 10. Don't round it down. It's just going to stay a 7 because it is only a 1-digit number. Okay, so it is the 1 digit I want to keep. Now this is something that I'm hoping you'll be able to multiply without your calculator. To multiply stuff with zeros on it, you can ignore the 0 for a minute and multiply 4 times 7, which is 28. And then the 0 that I ignored, it just gets put on the end. And that would be my answer. Now, other thing to have a look at is what's happening with my equal sign here. This was my original question. When I rounded it, I used an approximately equal to sign. But going from here to here, they are exactly the same. This question here, that is exactly equal to 280. So I'm able to use a normal equal to sign there because it's exactly equal to the one above it. Okay? Just something to keep in mind, something to try to use, not something that I'm going to be fussy about on your test, but it's good to know what these symbols mean. Question B. We want to round these ones first. So the 9 is my leading digit. Because there's a 5 here though, I need to round the 9 up so that it will become 100. Okay, now I'm going to round the next one. I want to keep the 3. This time the 2 will round down, so it becomes 300. So I have 100 times 300. Just like last time, ignore all the zeros. 1 times 3 is 3. And then the 4 zeros, you just put them afterwards. 1, 2, 3, sorry, yeah, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So it is 30,000 is my answer. Okay, question 4. Estimate the answers to these problems by rounding both numbers as indicated. So we're not doing the leading digit. This one we're rounding to the nearest 100. So 215, the 2 is in the hundreds position. The 1 will round down. So that will be approximately equal to 200. Now the 92, that's a bit of a problem because I don't have a hundreds digit. The 100 digit would be here in front and there's nothing there. But luckily, a 9 rounds up, so it would make 100. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, so times 100. Okay, now we're going to work this out exactly from there. So normal equal sign. 2 times 1 is 2. And then I have 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4 makes the answer 20,000. One last question. This time we are rounding to the nearest 10. To the nearest 10. So my first number, 266. The middle 6 is in the tens position. So I'm keeping the 2 as well. And the 6 at the end, 6's round up. So that's going to become 270 because the 6 rounds up. Okay, divided by, I should have an approximate equal to sign here as well because I'm rounding. 9 is a 1-digit number. It's a ones. But is that going to round to 10 or to 0? 10. We're going to round it up to 10. So we're going to divide by 10. Now that was really convenient because when you divide by 10, it crosses off a 0 from the number in front of it. So dividing by 10 will mean that that 0 there disappears and that will be equal to 27. Lulu.
How come 9 could round up to 10 but
Because this question I was asked to round to the leading digit. The leading digit means the first digit, and the 7 was my first digit of that number, so I wanted to keep it because it was my first digit. Whereas this one told me to round to the nearest 10, which means even though that was a 1-digit number, I'm saying is it closer to 0 or 10 or 20? I'm going to count by 10s here, and it's closer to 10 than it is to 0. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the way where we were asked around it. Mia. Let me just stop this.